Alright, against the odds time. Looking to get creative in standard with Indomitable Creativity. This hand is sweet, but we're lacking mana. If we draw one land in our first two turns, it's reasonable because we can get a clue. Let's try it. We're pretty well set up against aggro. We can kill aggro stuff. So opponent gets in with Courier. Alright, there's a land. That's good. Spire Bluff, go. Now I actually really like this hand. Opponent reveals a mountain. Goes attacking. Yeah, let's shock the Courier. Opponent plays Metallic Mimic. Win another land. We are certainly getting there. Alright, play the land, pass the turn. Leave up all our removal. Man, we might just get, if we draw another land, we might just get turn 4 Ulamog. Very possible now. Pia's Revolution. What is happening? Well, in response, Harness Lightning, Metallic Mimic. Opponent passes. Not a land. We'll play Spire Bluff, pass the turn. So we need a clue. Then we get an Ulamog. Implement of Combustion. Okay. Alright, so we'll take 3 here. Come on, creature. Opponent passes. Alright, tap land, go. Opponent plays a land. Come on, creature. That's not a creature. Yes, Wonky Ballista. We got there. So let's Jace's Scrutiny to get a clue. And now I feel pretty good about it. We can get Indomitable, targeting our own clue. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's an Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Do you have an answer, opponent? And our opponent scoops it up. That is exactly 100% how we drew it up. You cannot do... you cannot do it any better than that. That is exactly it. Well, let's bring in Fragmentize. Seems reasonable. Maybe Negates also seem reasonable. Release the Gremlins could be pretty alright. Going down Radiant Flames. And the Aether Meltdowns, I think, don't seem great in this matchup. And try it like that. Whoo! Alright. This hand's fine. Swamp for our opponent. Well, let's get the Highland Lake out of our hand. Pass the turn. There's the Bonded Courier. Down to 19. Play Spire Bluff. And let's just pass for now. Opponent goes attacking. Well, let's shock the Bonded Courier. Syndicate Trafficker for our opponent. Now, press for answers. Inspiring Vantage. Pass the turn. Getting our clue down is good because it means we have access to our nut draw if we ever get to it. And now we can start killing our opponent's stuff. Opponent gets in with the Bombad Courier. Not a creativity. Let's just play Aether Hub and pass the turn. Opponent goes attacking. So 1 and Harness Lightning, Syndicate Trafficker. Opponent sacks. And just Harness Lightning, Syndicate Trafficker. If we don't draw anything, we might have to sack the clue, actually. Well, Wandering Fumarole, pass the turn. Could use some card draw to find our creativity. Another Trafficker. And passes. There it is. Oh, that was good. This deck. Oh, off to a pretty good start. I think our opponent's a little upset, but I don't think they know that we're 100% to hit Ulamog. Like, that's what our deck is designed to do. If we're gonna fire off an Indomitable Creativity, we are getting an Ulamog every single time. Alright, against the odds time. We are getting creative in Standard with Indomitable Creativity, and this round we are up against a future pro, Ray Future Pro, actually a current pro, Ray Perez Jr., I believe. No combo yet, but we got Glimmer to dig for it. Forest for our opponent. And a Greenbelt Rampager. This looks like the Jund Energy deck. Well, Spire Bluff, go. Greenbelt Rampager is kind of annoying. There's an Aether Hub. Winding Constrictor, also a problem with this hand. Well, play Spire Bluff, pass the turn. Yikes. Another Aether Hub. Oh god. Another Winding Constrictor. And the Rampager. Huh. Okay. Take 2. Come on, Radiant Flames. Oh, that's Radiant Flames. Inspiring Vantage. Never mind. Now we are back in the game. Radiant Flames, X3. Wipe away the snakes. Ship the turn. There's a Rampager again. And a Siphoner. Okay. We're doing alright. Another Shock. Well, it's Shock Siphoner. Play an Aether Hub. Pass the turn. Yeah. Rishkar, not part of our current plans. So, disallow. Take 3 from the Rampager. Another Glimmer. Now, play Island and pass the turn. Jeez, opponent is on the all Aether Hub plan. Rampage is in. 4-3. Aether Sphere Harvester. Get some energy. Well, let's Glimmer, see what we can find. Harness Lightning is reasonable. I think we are going to keep both. And another one. Play an Aether Hub and pass the turn. Opponent plays a forest. 2 cards left in hand. Verdurous Gearhulk. Well, let's see what our opponent targets. 2-2. Harness Lightning the Rampager. Opponent Cruise. And then Harness Lightning the Gearhulk. Are we just going to have Harness Lightning Wrath? Exactly enough energy. Oh, the old Harnessed Wrath. Oh, play Inspiring Vantage. Pass the turn. Attuned with Aether for our opponent. Oh, and another Aether Sphere. And out of cards. Well, come on, Ulamog combo. Let's Glimmer. Both lands definitely to the bottom. And then Anticipate for, I guess, Aether Meltdown. More lands to the bottom. Well, Fumarol's a real card-ish. We have not found a single Clue Maker or a Creativity yet. Opponent passes. We get an Aether Hub. Well, let's Wandering Fumarol. Alright, opponent drew a removal spell. Well, play Spire Bluff, pass turn. There's the Rampager. Alright. Cruise up the Harvester. Gonna hit us down to 9. Well, come on, good draw. Press for Answers is not bad. There's Press for Answers. Tap down the Rampager. Play an Aether Hub. And pass the turn. The question is, do we sack the clue or do we keep it trying to find... I think we gotta sack. We'll find more clue cards. Radiant Flames. Island. Radiant Flames. Shock. And pass the turn. There's a Glimmer. That's what we wanted. So let's just main phase Glimmer. Both on top. We are getting super close. Play the Island and pass the turn. We just need a way to make a clue token. That's it. A clue token maker, and we have our Ulamog. So Glimmer, bottom Aether Hub, top Press for Answers. So close. Oh, we're drawing the bad one, though. Pass the turn. Now we need our opponent to play a creature so we can Press for Answers. Hissing Quagmire is not it. We get a Shock. All right. Pass the turn. There's a creature. It's a Longtusk Cub. Fires up Aether Sphere Harvester. Fires up Hissing Quagmire. Well, I think we got it. We got the combo. Let's Shock Hissing Quagmire. Opponent attacks. And then Aether Meltdown. Take 0. Now we Press for Answers, Longtusk Cub. And I think we should Indomitably Create. And let's pass the turn. Can you beat an Ulamog opponent? Glint Sleeve Siphoner gets our opponent some energy. And passes. Disallows a good draw. Well, let's get in with Ulamog. Exile away most of our opponent's deck. Press for Answers, Longtusk Cub, just in case. Pass the turn, leave up Disallow. Oh, taking down Pro Tour decks in the hands of pro players with Indomitable Creativity. Oh, so good. So good. Our opponent doesn't know what hit him. Attuned. Sure, you can do that. That's fine. And scoops it up. Oh, that is how you Indomitably create. What do we want against this deck? Constrictors, maybe Deadlock Trap, Radiant Flames? What do we not want is a better question. We can also creativity our opponent stuff, which is interesting. Go down 1 Meltdown and 1 Press for Answers. Try it like that. I think we gotta mulligan that. That one's just too risky. Well, 1 land, scry to the bottom. We have the combo in hand, but will we get exactly everything we need? Well, there's a tune with the Aether for our opponent. More Harness Lightnings. There's Constrictor. Well, come on, land. Not a land. Now we are in serious trouble. We really needed to kill that Constrictor. There's an Aether Hub for our opponent. Up to 4 energy. Another tune. Up to 7 energy. Ballista. I guess we can kill that too. And now we're just hoping we draw land. Kill that snake. Opponent gets in for 2. Shock the Ballista. Drop to 16, I'm sure. Yep, pings and pings. Come on, land! Land is so important. Not a land. Alright. Well, we were close. Tireless Tracker gets a clue. Gets in with the snake. Yikes. Well, I still think this was a fine keep. Especially since we mulliganed. I think it was correct. We did what we had to do. Clues are being sacked. I don't know if we can get out of it now, though. Scoop it up. Not let our opponent see our hand if we can help it. We just didn't get it lands there, so we can't really do much about that. We'll run it back. Alright, we're on the play here for game 3, and, mulligan. Oh, the curse of the one-landers. Oh, the ghost of Worth coming back to haunt us with the one-landers. There's a Blooming Marsh, and a tune. Well, there's a land. Alright, so we get to play Magic. Playing Magic is fun. Walking Ballista, X1. Inspiring Vantage. Let's just get down our Deadlock Trap. I think that's smartest. And pass the turn. Life, ooh, that's kind of bad. That can draw our opponent a lot of cards. Not a land. So 1, 2, let's anticipate. Grab an island. Play the island and pass the turn. Opponent gets to start scrying. We got to find our combo here pretty quick. Glimmer would help. Opponent gets in 4-1 with Ballista. That's a combo. Plays a Rampager. Yeah, let's kill it. There's a Forest and a Siphoner. Well, thankfully we can kill Siphoner. And there's Creativity. Well, let's tap that thing down. Pass the turn. Hopefully next turn we can get creative. Super luckily, we should not have Deadlock Trap in the deck. Oh my god. Oh, that's a 1 of in the sideboard. I did not even think that gets hit by Creativity. We are so lucky that that is on the battlefield and not in our deck. Opponent. There's Long Tusk Cub. Draws our opponent a card. Goes to combat. Gets in with Ballista. Yup. Down to 17. And a Winding Constrictor. How do we want to do this? Yeah, I guess we just kill Ballista. Hope our opponent does not have an answer to Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Opponent passes. Well, Creativity targeting our clue token. There's Ulamog. Play Spire Bluff. Alright, opponent, do you have an answer for the Ulamog? To the Slaughter is the card I'm worried about. That's the card that can get us. Opponent scries. But we got it. We got the combo. Will it be enough to win us this game? That's the big question. Scries to the top. Uh-oh. Draws with Siphoner. I mean, this is the game. Can they deal with it? I guess going... Alright, another Constrictor. They can try to go wide, I guess? Does not draw. There's an Aether Hub. Rishkar, Bima Renegade. Man, maybe Ulamog is just not enough. Alright, there's the counters. Well, let's spend our energy. Tap down the Siphoner. Last card. Walking Ballista. Oh dear. Well, Aether Hub gives us an energy. I mean, we have to attack. We can't not attack. I'm not confident this is going to be enough, but... Exile 20 cards. Pass the turn. Our opponents... We got our Ulamog too fast. Our opponent's going to have a card left. They're going to like win with one card in their library type thing. Goes to combat, so we need to tap down Glint Sleeve Siphoner. Opponent pumps up Ballista. It is getting huge. Goes to combat. Big attack. Well, fire up our Fumarole. Block Winding Constrictor. Jace's Scrutiny, a Winding Constrictor. And dead to Walking Ballista. That does it. Oh, so close. Ulamog, not good enough this time. Oh. Alright, against the odds time. Getting creative in Aether Revolt Standard and mulliganing. Okay. I guess this is fine. Hopefully our opponent's playing stuff we can kill with our removal. And then we Glimmer into the combo win. I love Glimmer so much, but we need lands. Gotta put it to the bottom. Blooming Marsh for our opponent, and passes. Well, Spire Bluff, goo. Alright, looks like green-black Delirium for our opponent. Another Blooming Marsh. And a Traverse for another land. And passes. Well, Mountain, goo. We're getting close, although, oh, Bug. Interesting. So this could mean counter spells. Aether Hub and pass the turn. So many shocks that aren't doing much of anything. Opponent cracks the Vessel. A Torrential Gearhulk. There's a Valving Wilds. No, Wandering Fumarole. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks the Valving Wilds. Gets a Swamp. Yeah, I don't know about this matchup. There's Ishkana that we don't really have an answer for yet. And there's the Spiders. Well, I think we're going to make a clue. Just in case we draw Indomitable Creativity off the top. We do not. Well, play an island and Glimmer of Genius. Looking for Indomitable Creativity. Scrutiny to the bottom. Meltdown also to the bottom. Alright, there's Indomitable Creativity. Well, pass the turn. Hope our opponent doesn't have counters. Goes attacking. Well, let's shock a baby spider. Take a bunch. Traverse. Tutors up a Tireless Tracker. There's a tracker. There's a land. Gets a clue. Alright, well, let's see if Ulamog is good enough here. So, creativity. I don't think we want to target our opponent's creatures. So, get an Ulamog. Shock the Tireless Tracker. Pass the turn. See if our opponent has an answer. Oh, we got the combo. Is it good enough to win us the game? Or do they have, if they have like To the Slaughter, things get really bad. We know they have a Torrential Gearhulk. There's a Sunken Hollow. Oh boy. Yeah, that's about the worst, especially before boarding. One of very few answers that actually exist in Standard for what we're doing. Yup, and they even have a Torrential Gearhulk to get it back, which makes things even worse. Well, let's harness Lightning Ishkana, play Inspiring Vantage, pass the turn. Opponent cracks their clue, plays a land, gets in with the spiders, down to 8. Well, let's anticipate. Well, I guess we take Disallow. If we set our combo up again eventually, that will be helpful. Play Spire Bluff, pass the turn. Opponent goes attacking. Well, kill a spider. Take one. Down to 7. Play an Aether Hub. And pass turn. Drop to 6. Opponent passes. Glimmer's not bad. Let's pass the turn. Down to 5. Traverse the Uvenwald. Gets our opponent another Ishkana. Now let's Glimmer. Meltdown to the bottom. Scrutiny to the top. Well, Meltdown to the top 2 apparently. Well, tap down the baby spider. And pass the turn. Now we gotta find another Indomitable Creativity before everything goes wrong. Another land for our opponent. There's Ishkana. Disallow Ishkana. Opponent disallows our disallow. And we'll disallow back. Harness Lightning. Well, I guess we get in with Fumarole. Not sure how we're going to win this game, because we know they have that Torrential Gearhulk. They also have a super bad Fatal Push, but does get Wandering Fumarole. The odds of our opponent having that To the Slaughter. That was pretty painful. Well, let's crack this clue, I guess. Another land. There's Creativity. Well, kill Tireless Tracker. There's Torrential Gearhulk. For Disallow. Play Inspiring Vantage. Aether Meltdown, Torrential Gearhulk. Pass the turn. I still don't think this is going to work. We got to hope our opponent has literal nothing. So, Jace's Scrutiny, Tireless Tracker. Alright, well, we're not dead yet. Opponent gets in for 2. Down to 2. We draw an island. Let's indomitably create everything. Oh, that 2 the slaughter. Oh, we had it. Oh, God. Our opponent has Noxious. Well, we got to get some more information out of our opponent's deck. Noxious Gearhulk, Torrential Gearhulk. Good God. Well, bring in Fevered Visions, bring in our counters, and go down. Aether Meltdowns, Radiant Flames, I think. Yeah, let's try it like that. Fevered Vision seems awesome. It's unfortunately we have Ulamog in our hand. Hopefully we don't get got by a negate. Otherwise, Fevered Visions is excellent. Lumbering Falls for our opponent. Play an island, pass the turn. Vessel of Nascency. And Evolving Wilds. Well, let the fun begin with Fevered Visions. Draw a card. Opponent corrects Evolving Wilds. Spiring Vantage, kinda tapped. There's a Sanctum for our opponent. And passes. Draws a card. Takes some damage. We play a tap land. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks our vessel. Gets a Sphinx of the Final Word. Huh. How do we beat that? There's a Tireless Tracker. There's a land. Opponent draws. Loses some life. Discards a card. We play Inspiring Vantage. Pass the turn. Draw a card. It's an Aether Hub. Oh, that shock is painful, but I think it's more important than Glimmer there. Opponent grapples, mills a bunch of stuff, gets back something. I have no idea how we beat Sphinx of the Final Word. There's Tireless Tracker. We draw a Dispel. Oh, play Aether Hub, pass the turn, see what we draw. Yeah, we will discard a Glimmer. There's Evolving Wild. Gets our opponent a clue. Cracks Evolving Wilds. Gets another clue. Traverse the Uvenwald for Ishkana. Opponent passes. Well, that's Glimmer of Genius. Opponent negates. We will dispel the negate. 1, 2. Well, that's... How can we make this work? I think Creativity to the bottom. Fevered Visions to the top. Opponent drops to 12. We have to somehow race that Sphinx of the Final Word. Maybe somehow double Fevered Visions will do it. Play Spire Bluff, pass the turn. We draw, island, and negate. Discard the tap land. There's a Sunken Hollow. Gets our opponent a clue. There's the Sphinx. Can we race it with Fevered Visions? It is going to be super close. Jace's Scrutiny gets us a clue. Opponent draws, down to 10, down to 8. Has to discard, disallow. How can we win? Alright, I guess we pass. We could get a Ulamog. Is it worth it, is the question. Red, whatever. There's our Ulamog. Glimmer and press for answers. Opponent, of course, has the 2 the slaughter. So there goes our Ulamog. Transgress the Mind, gonna take something. We might survive. Opponent plays a land. What do they got? Oh man, because they're dropping to 4? They gotta kill us in 2 turns. They get in for 8. We Glimmer of Genius. That's game, I think. Disallow. So play a land. Press for answers Tireless Tracker. Fire up Fumarole. That's game right now. Whoa! Woo! We got there! Wow! Through the Sphinx of the Final Word. Oh man, this deck seems like semi-legit. Woo! Oh my lord! I don't know how we keep staying in these games, but we do. Oh my goodness. Well, we got 2 Fevered Visions. That is it. That's all this hand does. There's a negate. Well, when we get to resolve 2 Fevered Visions and our opponent can't interact with them, could be good. Tap land. Spire Bluff, go. Come on, Tireless Tracker so we can shock it. That would be great. Opponent passes. Play a mountain, pass the turn. I think we gotta wait. on our Fevered Visions here. Grapple, all lands, gets a land, plays a swamp, traverse for another land, and passes. I'll play an Aether Hub, pass turn, tap land for our opponent, and passes. Well, play a land, play Fevered Visions. Opponent goes to counter. Well, let's see if they have Dispels. Alright, Fevered Visions down. Let's start the drawing. Inspiring Vantage. There's a land for our opponent. Torrential Gearhulk for Grapple by the looks. Yep. Grapple. Oh dear. That's the Sphinx. Oh, that Sphinx. Opponent drops to 18. Let's Harness Lightning Torrential Gearhulk. Harness Lightning Torrential Gearhulk. Play Inspiring Vantage, pass the turn, get a Disallow, not good because of Sphinx of the final word, which is coming down this turn, I assume. There's the Sphinx. How do we beat the Sphinx? Opponent's down to 16, we get a Glimmer. Play Fevered Visions. There's the lands we've been missing. There's an Aether Hub for our opponent. Gets in with the Sphinx. Down to 15. Opponent passes. Drops to 12. Has to discard. We play an Aether Hub, pass the turn. Draw, yikes. There's Torrential Gearhulk. Targets Disallow. Well, let's Glimmer of Genius. 2 lands to the bottom for sure. Oh boy, I think that's gonna do it. Oh, so close. Discard the Fumarals. And an island. So the only way I can see this working is if we find our last 2 shocks. Well, let's anticipate. Opponent's going to counter it. All right, deck. Be nice to us somehow, sometime. We take a Fevered Visions. Shock our opponent. Jace's Scrutiny. Play a Mountain. Play Fevered Visions. Oh, wow. Sphinx of the final word. All right. Against the odds time, looking to get creative in Standard. His Quagmire for our opponent. Well, Fumarole go. This hand's pretty good. We're a little lacking in... There's a Constrictor. All we're lacking is the actual creativity. So let's Harness Lightning, get rid of the Constrictor, pass the turn. Swamp for our opponent. Sylvan Advocate. Well, play Wandering Fumarole, pass the turn. Another land. Rishkar, Pima Renegade. So, trigger on the stack, shock Rishkar. Opponent gets in with Sylvan Advocate. Yup. Down to 17. And opponent passes. Well, play a mountain, ship the turn. Oath of Nissa goes digging. What's our opponent find? Ooh, there's Verdurous Gearhulk. Can't come down this turn, though, which is good. Another Rishkar. Okay. Shock the Rishkar. Opponent goes attacking, so let's just Aether Meltdown. Make it a 0-5. Opponent passes. Oh, we drew the Ulamog. Alright, pass the turn. Ay. That was not ideal. Walking Ballista. X2. Well, we get to Glimmer. Both to the bottom. Ugh. Alright, no land still. Jeez, pass the turn. Alright, so Verdurous Gearhulk can come down next turn. Opponent passes. Well, Harness Lightning on Ballista. Sure, our opponent's going to ping us. Puts a counter on it. Okay. Pings us down to 14. Yup. Oh, we get a Press for Answers. We'll pass the turn. I think we have to counter this Gearhulk as our main goal. Sylvan Advocate's up to a 2-7. Alright, there's Gearhulk. We will Disallow. Wouldn't mind drawing a land. Or just Indomitable Creativity before we draw another Ulamog. There's a land. Well, press for answer, Sylvan Advocate. Play Inspiring Vantage. Pass the turn. Another land. Only 2 cards in hand for our opponent. Another Gearhulk. Well, let's see how the counters go. We really need an Indomitable Creativity off the top. Alright. So, kill the Gearhulk. Come on, Creativity. Main phase Glimmer. Looking for Creativity for next turn. Keep both. Play a Mountain. Keep Advocate tapped down. Pass the turn. What's our opponent have? Oh no. Oh dear. Gearhulk number 3 is super bad news. We are running out of time. And getting to the point where just getting an Ulamog might not be enough, unless we get it this exact turn, Aether Meltdown. That actually kind of helps. Alright, so pass the turn, see what our opponent does, fires up Quagmire, goes to combat, Aether Meltdown, the Gear Hulk, Jace's Scrutiny, Hissing Quagmire, take a bunch still. I think we're still dead. So, sack a Clue, Spire Bluff, not gonna do it. Well, come on, Creativity. That's our one realistic out. Oh no, that does it. Oh, drawing both of our Ulamogs is not where we want to be. Oh boy. Alright. Maybe another Radiant Flames is okay. Going down like an Aether Meltdown and just try it like that. Alright, we get to play first. And okay. We got Creativity, which means hopefully we can anticipate for something to make a clue and just get a quick Ulamog and win. Play Spire Bluff, pass turn. There's a Forest for our opponent. And Ballista. Alright, well, let's anticipate. Nothing that makes a clue, so we will just take, I guess, an Aether Hub. There's a clue maker. Instant speed even. So Aether Hub, go. So it looks like we're going to have the turn 4 Ulamog. Is it enough to beat Green-Black Snake? We will see. This is a deck that theoretically could have Edict effects, like to the slaughter. Opponent goes to combat, gets in with Ballista, down to 19, plays Rishkar, Pima Renegade. Well, 1, 2, let's Jace's Scrutiny the Rishkar, get a clue. Alright, it's time to get creative. Alright, come on, deck. I mean, we know what we're getting. The question is, does our opponent have an answer? Hopefully, they do not. Sack the clue. We get an Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. So, it's to the slaughter or bust for our opponent. Is it bust? We gotta wait and see. So, there's a Ulamog. 4 mana, turn 4. I think this is the fastest way to get an Ulamog in Standard. And it doesn't require quite as many bad cards as some of the energy decks. So let's see, opponent. What do you got? Do you have a way to beat this? Transgress the Mind. Well, that's not what I was worried about. They can take Glimmer or Disallow, but that means there's no Torrential Gear Hulk coming down this turn. What's the follow-up? Winding Constrictor. Okay, that's fine. Opponent passes. We get a Shock. Oh, that's actually excellent. Harness Lightning the Winding Constrictor. Then attack with Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. And our opponent scoops it up. Woo! Turn 4 Ulamog. Good enough to take down one of the breakout decks of the Pro Tour. Alright, so it all comes down to this. Game 3 against Green-Black Snake. Can we steal another win with Ulamog? And this hand is pretty good. Wouldn't mind another land, but I think this is good. Evolving Wilds. Alright, Spire Bluff, go. Another land is good. We have a Press for Answers. We need a creature to tap down. We got some Disallows. I mean, I guess the question is going to be, does our opponent have the answer? That's always the question. Oath of Nissa goes digging, gets a Swamp, and opponent passes. Now let's play Spire Bluff, pass the turn. Swamp for our opponent, and Liliana, the Last Hope. Not a creature, unfortunately. Takes up Liliana. Well, there's Spire Bluff, pass the turn. I wonder if our opponent will intentionally try to not play creatures to avoid the combo. Takes up Liliana. Alright, there's a Tireless Tracker. Alright, that's good. That works out. So we get to Press for Answers Tireless Tracker, get our clue, and then shock the Tireless Tracker, and then pass turn. We're still a land short of getting creative. Also, our opponent could ruin this with, alright, there's Rishkar. If our opponent has to the slaughter, we could still lose from here. Yep. Opponent passes. We get nothing. Pass turn. Oh man, this lad. We're a lad short. Okay. What do you got, opponent? Takes up Liliana. Disallow is a good answer to the Liliana ultimate. Opponent gets in with Rishkar. Down to 17. Walking Ballista. Okay. Well, let's Aether Meltdown, the Rishkar. Oh, we drew an Ulamog. No, not like this. Oh, we had it. We just couldn't find the land. Oh, now I bet we lose. Now our opponent has the mana that they can Verdurous Gearhulk and Liliana ultimate, and that's pretty bad for us. Oh, we were so close. For want of a land, Winding Constrictor for our opponent, and another Walking Ballista. Oh, dear. Yeah, that Liliana's killing us. Well, lack of mana, actually. Shock. Okay, so I guess we could pass the turn. Discard an Ulamog. Oh, no. Yeah, we're dead. Oh, if we had drawn the land, I think we would have had it. What do you got, opponent? We just can't counter anything now, is the problem. Opponent goes attacking. We can't do anything now with only 3 lands. We just got to let our opponent do whatever they want, because they always have this Liliana ultimate hanging over our heads. Takes up Liliana. Alright. Yep, that does it. Oh, if we had drawn one more land. Oh. Alright. Oh, so close. Alright. Against the odds time, we are getting creative in Standard. And we'll keep this. We got our clue production. Got a glimmer to hopefully find our Indomitable Creativity. And then we just win. Ideally. That's the plan anyway. Spire Bluff, go. There's an Aether Hub for our opponent. Not Constrictor. Alright, Brawler's fine. Brawler we just get to shock. Inspiring Vantage, pass the turn. There's Voltaic Brawler for our opponent. Alright, this is sort of a waste, but we're going to do it now and make a clue. Oh, even better. Alright, Spire Bluff, go. How does a turn 4 Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger Sound, green-red energy? Goes to combat, goes attacking, pays an energy. We'll take 4 for now. Sure. Another Brawler. Well, can you brawl your way past our Ulamog? Oh, we drew 1. That's not great. So, Indomitable Creativity. Target our clue. I got a guess. Let's make a guess at what we find. Oh, yes. And that's an Ulamog. The Ceaseless Hunger. Yep. Okay, opponent. Another Voltaic Brawler. Sure, that's fine. We do need to make sure we stay alive, which might mean not attacking next turn and glimmering for some action. Another Creativity. Alright, tap land, no attacks. Opponent finds a land. Kinda wish we hadn't drawn the second Ulamog. Opponent goes on the big attack, pays a bunch of energy. Well, let's block a Brawler. Invigorated Rampage. That is a lot of damage. Okay. So we take 12. Down to 4. Glimmer of Genius. And let's keep both. Another Creativity. Well, Harness Lightning, a Voltaic Brawler. Opponent has Blossoming Defense. Well, if they have another Blossoming Defense, we are actually in trouble. Pass the turn. They're out of energy, which actually helps. Draw a mountain. Larger than life, a Voltaic Brawler. Okay. Larger than life, the other Voltaic Brawler. We're not dead yet! Attacks, they're out of cards as well. Attacks. Jace's Scrutiny, a Voltaic Brawler. Block the other one. Drop to 1. Untap. How do we do this? Glimmer of Genius. Creativity. Let's put both to the bottom. There's a land. Play Aether Hub. Get an energy. Shock Voltaic Brawler. Get in with Ulamog. Exile away 20 cards. For having a turn 4 Ulamog, this game actually ended up being super close. Hopefully our opponent does not just draw a Shock. That would make me cry. Harness Lightning, that's fine. Bristling Hydra for our opponent. We get a Wandering Fumarole. I'll play Wandering Fumarole, and I think we just gotta pass the turn. Oh, we're so close! Servant of the Conduit. Get some energy. No attacks. Well, let's crack our clue. Another Fumarole. And an island. Well, play Wandering Fumarole. Pass the turn. Can we attack? Man, it puts us in a position where we die to so much. But it puts our opponent in a position where if they don't draw a winning card, we just win the next turn. Let's do it. There are things that beat us. Hopefully our opponent does not draw them. Alright. Like if they draw something that can give Bristling Hydra trample. Pummeler doesn't do it. And we got there. Whoa! That ended up being closer than I hoped. But we got there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fire up our Wandering Fumarole. Block Bristling Hydra. And even if our opponent chumps, they're dead. We exile everything away with Ulamog. Whoo! My goodness, that was close. Woo! Wow. Well, turn 4 Emrakul, Ulamog, just good enough. Oh, I gotta get rid of that Deadlock Trap. That should not be in the deck. We'll bring in a couple more Radiant Flames and go down. I guess a couple of Disallows. Try it like that. Okay. A little Landlight, but we got the clues, we got the creativity. 4 is for our opponent. And Attune with Aether. Well, Wandering Fumarole, go. There's a Game Trail. And another Attune. Opponent's getting lots of energy. And passes. Well, Wandering Fumarole. Pass the turn. There's a Mountain. Opponent passes. Play Inspiring Vantage. And pass the turn. There's a Mountain. Ooh, and Chandra, eh? Okay, that's actually kind of annoying. Our opponent has not played a creature yet. Voltaic Brawler exiled. We drop to 18. Well, let's anticipate. Grab the Aether Hub. Play Aether Hub. Get an energy. Pass the turn. Kinda need a creature from our opponent. There's a Game Trail. Takes up Chandra. Well, let's Glimmer of Genius. Harness Lightning to the bottom. Mountain to the top. Another land. Another land. If our opponent just never plays a creature, that's kind of annoying. Well, let's shock Chandra. Play an Aether Hub. And pass the turn. We might have to Chase's Scrutiny our own Wandering Fumarole just to get a clue. Since our opponent is refusing to play creatures, that is a risky strategy. Are we really just making our opponent not ever play a creature because they're so worried about Indomitable Creativity? If it is, it's kind of a win. Alright, there's a Brawler. So our opponent does play a creature, finally. Well, 1, 2, let's Chase's Scrutiny the Brawler. That gets us a clue. And then let's Harness Lightning the Brawler. Opponent uses a Blossoming Defense, keeps the Brawler alive. Okay. Let's play a Mountain, and let's get creative with our clue token. Guess what we found, opponent? It's an Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. Oh man, if they can threaten this, I'm gonna cry. That would be the blowout of blowouts. What do you got, opponent? What do you have? There's a Forest, Long Tusk Cub, sure. Takes up Chandra, Heroic Intervention, down to 14. Well, let's shock the Brawler. No carries have expertise, so I think this Ulamog might be enough now. Alright, there it goes. Press for answers the Long Tusk Cub. Gets us a clue, taps down the only blocker, keeping Chandra alive. Oh, another Heroic Intervention. Okay. Cub lives, the Cub lives. Well, play an island, attack Chandra, exile 20 cards. Opponent gets a free block, yep. Alright, pass turn. Well, our opponent has to literally kill us this turn. Servant of the Conduit, I guess, is another counter on Long Tusk Cub. Takes up Chandra. Gets Attune with Aether. Because if we're not really dead, we just exile away our opponent's library and the game ends that way. And they don't know it, but they gotta do it through Jace's Scrutiny. Goes to combat. Here comes the Long Tusk Cub. Wow. Alright. What's our opponent's plan? Or do they just not realize how dead they are? Passes. Well, let's attack with an Ulamog. Sure, we'll go with Chandra. And that does it! Taking down our arch nemesis. Woo, I have to say, it has been a good week for beating Green-Red Energy. That is the deck we always lose to. We did it on Budget Magic. We get it on Against the Odds with Indomitable Creativity of all things. Wow, this deck is actually working. It's actually working really surprisingly well. Oh my my god. So what do we learn this week about Indomitable Creativity in Standard? And overall, the numbers are a bit weird. So we got in 5 matches, we won 2, which means we have a 40% match win percentage. However, we got in 13 games, and our win percentage jumped all the way up to over 53%. So basically what happened was this. We had 2 matches that we won, and we just crushed our opposition. Against the green-red aggro deck, energy aggro deck, against the red-black artifact deck, they just didn't have anything to do with our plan. We just could kill a couple of other things in the early game with Shocks and Harness Lightning, get a turn 4, turn 5 Ulamog, and they were just essentially drawing dead. They couldn't do anything about it. So we had some huge blowout wins against the other matchups, the green-black decks, the Sultai control deck. Those were a little more sketchy because we did get to the slaughtered ones. Or there were times when our opponent was able to Verdurous Gearhulk and go wide with Walking Ballista and kill us even with the Ulamog out. But even in those matchups, they were super close. Like the match that sticks out in my mind, or the game in specific, was Game 3 against Green-Black Snake, where we had the turn 4 Ulamog draw minus our 4th land, and we just never found our 4th land. We had it all set up, probably would have won us that game and the match. So when we were winning huge in blowout fashion, and the games weren't even especially close. And when we were losing really close, hard-fought matches where if we got a little luckier or ran a little better or played a little tighter, we probably could have won another match at least, maybe even a couple more matches. So the deck actually felt really competitive. Like, I was surprised. Ulamog itself can be a little hit or miss. I wish there was a more game-ending finisher, like Emrakul, the Eon's Torn. If we had that kind of card, or a Grizzlebrand type card that's just a game over reanimation target, it would be way better, because 4 mana, get the best creature in Standard is a pretty good deal, and we were able to do that really consistently. The problem is Ulamog, especially without the cast trigger, is like, it's good, and it closes out the game quickly, and it's probably the best option available, but it's not just automatically game over like Grizzlebrand or old school Emrakul. So a better finisher would be sweet, but 4 mana get the best creature out of your deck is really powerful, and the deck building restriction wasn't too severe. Yes, we gotta have Jace's Scrutiny. Yes, we have to have the clue production stuff. Yes, we gotta make sure we don't have any other creatures or artifacts like our accidental Deadlock Trap in the sideboard. Luckily, we didn't get punished for that. Even the one match where we brought it in, it never came up. That would have been super painful to think we were going to win by Indomitable Creativitying into an Ulamog and hitting a Deadlock Trap instead. Anyway, that's been our Against the Odds for this week. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.